Well, welcome everybody. My name's Tracey Flintoff. Happy Tuesday. We are so happy to have you with us. And my amazing friend Joy Markham is with us tonight from Maui. We're so happy to have Joy. We have Joy in the house. And thanks for those of you who bared with us last week as we did deviate from our usual schedule, and we're back on our usual times and day. So Cammie is not with us tonight. She had a very exciting event. She is a grandma to her third grandbaby. So she's down in southern part of Washington with her family down there. And we're really excited for them. So Joy has been so kind to offer to help me share tonight. And we have got some fun information for you. We've got a little bit of a different twist if you've seen this presentation before. And we're going to do a deep dive into a new topic on autoimmune conditions at the end after our regular patching party. So we'll do our regular patching party. And for those of you who want some extra credit, homework, good information, just hang in there with us and we'll share more. But for those of you who just want the regular good information about these amazing little things like what I have right here on my wrist. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. Bear with me 1 minute here. Cute joke. Hey, Zach, can you shut my door, honey? Thank you. Okay, is everybody seeing the screen here? So what we're going to talk about tonight is revolutionary new technology founded on an old-time principle of light, and it's wearable, like what I was just showing you on my wrist. And it's just changed our lives. And Joy and I and a couple others are going to share with you how it's changed our lives. And really, this goes back into way back years of some pretty smart fellows. You might have heard of a fella named Albert Einstein, father of modern physics. And he says the future of medicine is really all about frequency. And then comes along Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. That's a big hint, the light bulb. And he says doctors of the future will not give pills, but they're going to focus on the cause and the prevention of the disease. So pretty profound, smart fellas, you might agree. And so interestingly, today, modern technology, we're harnessing the power of light in many different ways. You can see laser light, infrared sauna, MRI technology. These are all forms of light and just very life-changing. And so we're going to share some information with you tonight. But before we get started, I just want to let you know that we're talking about LifeWave phototherapy patches tonight, and this is classified by the FDA in the holistic wellness product category. So it's not a medical device. If it were, you wouldn't be learning about this from Joy and I or a friend. You'd have a pharmaceutical rep calling on a doctor, and that's the only way you'd learn. But thankfully for us, it's something that we get to share word of mouth. And we are not medical professionals. We are not diagnosing or treating any medical conditions tonight. We are simply sharing really great information and helping you learn through other people's experiences. And as always, you'd want to consult with your own doctor regarding whatever health issues you are dealing with. Tonight's information is purely informational purposes only. And but I want to talk to you a little bit about our bodies and how we're formed. And you might know and you might not know that we get formed in utero with one single stem cell. That is the beginning of life. And that stem cell grows to create that baby. And when we're born, we are full of stem cells. And as young kids, we have a high level of stem cells. But as we age, time and different factors have a decline on those stem cells in our body. And it's quite a steep decline. And you can see this little chart right here. But by the time we are 60, we have only a small percentage of our stem cells left. And that's why we start having issues and things start going wrong. Really, by the age of 35, we've lost half of those stem cells. I was pretty shocked to learn that. But by age 60, we've got less than 10% left. If you're 80 or better, you're more like 3% of those left. So pretty important in maintaining really good quality health. So we like to have lots of stem cells, and what we're going to talk to you about tonight is stem cells in America. Because right now, really, if you want to go get stem cells, you're really forced into injections. And the best pluripotent stem cells, the ones that really make change in the body, are not really available in the US anymore. So we're required to go out of country. You might be going down to Panama or Germany or Greece, but you are putting somebody else's DNA in your body. They are expensive. They are painful. I've heard some people who paid for 3 injections, only did 1 or 2 and said they'd never go back for the third because they just hurt too much. And then also, they are not always effective. And if they are effective, usually it is short term. But in the US, we have PRP injections. Those are plasma-rich platelet. That's your own stem cells spun, picking out the cream of the crop and re-injecting them into your body. But really what we're going to talk to you about tonight is a way to get your own to repair and regenerate and prevent in your body. So it is the power of the patch is what we call it. And these are patented phototherapy, and they are put on the body, and then the body heat activates them. And it's reflecting back our own low-level infrared light. And you might be thinking, light, what are you talking about? We have a light, but we do. You can't see it to the naked eye. But if you watch one of those crime drama shows, you've probably seen people with night vision goggles. And it is that light that is aglow around the body that these are reflecting back into the body at a specific wavelength of light. And the placement of these patches is all based on the many LifeWave, scientific studies they've done. They've done them and looked at most effective areas on the body, and a lot of that being guided by Chinese medicine, acupressure points, and they're working with meridians on the body, energy meridians, moving energy flow, the chi, if you will. So when you've got pain, that's blocked energy. These patches help get the energy moving again, and that's why a lot of people have very rapid pain relief because of the movement of energy. So these actually, I've learned, are kind of similar to acupuncture, but we don't have needles. But both of those modalities are moving energy. So what we're talking about is X39, and that is a patented cellular activation technology. And that is raising GHK copper peptide in our body. And that is really a fountain of youth. And you might remember about 50 years ago, a lot of people wearing copper bracelets. That technology goes back to that finding. Again, body heat activated. And these are elevating peptides in our body and many different things. We wear them 12 hours on to activate and repair, and then 12 hours off to give the body rest. And we repeat that process daily, and we have to drink a lot of water. Water is really critical to the efficacy of these, because your stem cells and all the cells in our body, they're about 70% water. So it takes water. But this product and this company is very unique because it's the only phototherapy product in the entire world that uses the human body as the power source. So think of that, pretty huge. And it's patented. It's the only company you're going to get it from. But I want to talk to you a little bit about when we are activating our own repair cells, what can that do for the body? Well, I just mentioned pain relief, and it can be quick. I have had people out of pain in, under 30 seconds, and they look at me and they think, how did you do that? This is a trick, but no, it's real. We have the ability to reduce inflammation, help wounds heal. It impacts energy, vitality, skin appearance. It just does so many great things. Improves sports performance, mental clarity. That was a big one for me. Wow, when my brain came back, I was a pretty happy camper. And the beautiful thing is we really have no side effects with this because there are no drugs or chemicals entering the body. It is called non-transdermal, very different than a nicotine patch or a hormone patch or something. Nothing's going in our bloodstream. There are no stimulants, and therefore we really don't have to worry about any drug interactions. This is a privately held company with over 100 patents in the US. And what I'd like to do now is do our testimonials. And before I ask Gita to unmute herself, I'll tell you just a real quick one on my own story. I always say the patch found me. I sure was hoping and praying for something because I was going through a really hard, horrible menopause and I'd lost my brain. My hair was falling out. I had anxiety. I was sleeping in about 2-hour increments because the hot flashes were so intense and horrible. And when these came to me, my brain came back really quickly. All those conditions I told you about got under control really quickly. About 6 weeks in, my hairstylist, who had been moving around my hair part to help cover my balding spots, she said, "What do you have going on up here? Because I've never seen anything like this." And I was like, "Oh, wow, what do I have?" And she said, "Well, you got all these new hair starts and those little bald patches like I've never seen. They're all over your head." And I went, "Oh my goodness, this is real. This isn't in my head. If she's really seeing it." I said, "Wow, they told me that this reactivates collagen and it does impact hair growth. Wow, maybe these are really real." I went on 4.5 months later to find out that I no longer needed my levothyroxine for my thyroid condition. My hot flashes had returned, and I went to my medical doctor and I told him, "Hey, these things, these patches, I thought they were great, but they're not because all the bad stuff's back." And he laughed and he goes, "Oh, no, no, no. Those patches and those cells that you are activating in your body, they know their job. And I believe your thyroid has regenerated itself." Lo and behold, he was right. I got to wean off of that after some blood work. I had a bunion on my left foot. I had the right one removed. I swore I'd never do it again. It was so painful. And that bunion disappeared. It dissolved. It went away. The pain, I forgot the pain. But then when a friend asked me about my bunion and if these patches might help save her from that horrible, very painful surgery that I'd had, and we looked down at my feet and both my feet look identical. One had a surgically removed bunion. The other foot, Mother Nature took care of it with the help of these patches. So I am going to stop sharing screen here. And Gita, if you're free, and if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and telling us where you are talking to us from today. I'm hoping.
Hi, I'm in the
Hi.
dark because I am in an off-grid paradise in the Pacific coast of Colombia. And so it's dark right now because it's nighttime. And I'm in my little fort in my bed. Um, but yes, so I am currently in Colombia. I own a wellness adventure healing center here in Colombia. I am a master intuitive healer and an alternative medicine practitioner. The patches came into my life via a friend of mine who happens to be an old high school friend of Tracey's. And I actually have an interesting story because I started with used patches because I was in a place where I couldn't actually get my own patch. And so I was said, they were like, "Here," Joy was nice enough to give me some of her used patches. And she said, "Give it a try. Obviously, it's the potency and the effectiveness is not going to be the same as a brand new patch, but it does still have some technology in it." And, so I was like, okay. I didn't think much of it. I kind of got busy with my stuff. And then I decided to try the Alavita that you guys had given me. I deal with major clenching to the point where I've fractured my teeth. I have grinded them down. I had some incredibly post-traumatic bruxism that was a really, really, really big problem. So it would affect my sleep. My body didn't feel safe to be asleep. I had had a lot of trauma that happened while I was asleep and unconscious. So my body just remembered that. And in a state of sleep, I just wouldn't have the repair and the rest that a normal body would go through. Now, I have done a massive amount of healing with, alternative medicine, but that was the one thing that just kept on being a problem. And so I decided to try the aloe vera right in the middle of my forehead and my third eye. And I noticed that I was dreaming, which means my brain was working. I was going into REM. I was waking up and I didn't have the jaw pain, which meant I wasn't clenching. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay. So then I stopped using it and I would feel the clenching again. And so then I would put it on again and then I wouldn't. And then I would stop again. And I was like, okay, like I was just like, is this a fluke? Is this in my head? You know what I mean? And then I realized like, oh no, this is really calming down my brain. It's helping me to get to a level where my body is actually being able to calm and relax, which was not something that I could do. And that was huge for me. So fast forward, and I think it was last week or the week before, I'm not unsure. Recently, I had some sort of allergic reaction. I have no idea to what, but I started breaking out in all these rashes, and I don't react well to chemicals, but I was in so much itching and burning, and I had to work and I had sessions and stuff. And so I was like, maybe I should put some anti-itch Benadryl. Like I don't normally use those things, but it's like I need something quicker, than my alternative medicine, which usually goes to the root. And so it takes a little bit longer. I know it's effective, but it takes a little bit longer. So I'm like, let me just try the anti-itch cream. I used a Benadryl and it made it 10 times worse. The chemicals in it actually made my body react even worse. And then it actually started affecting my breathing. And then I couldn't breathe. And I was actually really concerned because I'm like, oh my God, I can't breathe. I'm really having a bad reaction. So I was trying to sleep it off. I took an antihistamine, like in natural antihistamine. The next morning I woke up, I'm still itching, I'm still burning, I still have the welts all over me. And I decided I'm just going to put one of the patches on. And I put the patch on, and within a couple hours, I realized, oh, I'm not itching and burning. Like it didn't even dawn on me. I wasn't doing it for that. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm going to put a patch on. And then 2 hours later, I'm not itching and burning. And then I look and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have the welts. And then I looked at my on my legs and I don't have the welts. And then the welts were completely gone. And I was like, what? So I sent pictures to Tracey. I don't know if she got
Yeah,
she got to
I'm gonna go show everyone your pictures right now, Gita, because you have to see this. These are pretty profound welts. Are you guys seeing
yeah,
what I'm
I
seeing?
mean, it was pretty terrible. I had never had anything like it before. And it literally burned and itched in my entire body. And then, yeah, they went away. And I
Wow.
am very grateful.
And here we are
Um,
after.
yeah.
Well, I
And
guess that
so
third one is not after.
the third one's not after. The third one was
Okay, get
before.
rid of that.
But
There we
yeah,
go.
and those pictures actually, um, it was literally worse. The welts were worse than what it shows in the picture. Like it didn't capture all of it. But can it just imagine your whole body just feeling like it's itching and burning? And I just thought, wow, incredible. And my friend, one of my friends, she really wanted to be here and she couldn't, but her first time wearing the patch was today. And she called me in tears because she had a bone on bone in C7. She had spinal injury. She couldn't bend down. It was very difficult for her to get in and out of the car. She had no energy. She was really, really struggling. And so I said, hey, sis, I think this is really going to help you. She ordered it. It got in and she put it on. She said within 5 minutes, she started feeling tingling sensation. She immediately felt a difference in her complexion. And within less than an hour, she had like she called me to show me. She's like, oh my God, look. And she's like turning her neck and she's, bending down. And she's like, I got in and out of my car with no pain. She's like, I walked to my door. I started running and going, what the heck? She's like, I am astounded. I have energy. She's like, I feel like I was just injected with life. She goes, girl, oh my God. thank you. And she's crying and I'm crying and we're just all like, we're crying, and it was just pretty incredible. And then Josh, my partner, his mom is on here and she tried it today for the first time and she had a similar situation as well. So it's just really profound. And here I am, I was using youth patches. So imagine what it does for you when it's new.
I know, Gita, I can't wait till we get you the real patches. She lives on an island outside of Colombia and she has whales in front of her house and all sorts of cool things. So mail delivery is non-existent there. So that's why she hasn't had them. But she's going to get them really soon. Thank you so much for sharing, Gita. We love sharing. And, because of the nature of this company, we really can't advertise. The company can't. And we're really not supposed to share, but we learn from each other. And that's why we like to do these little get-togethers so you can learn through other people's experience. And I just think it's priceless. So thank you. You just don't know whose life you might save. And that's why some of us, when you understand what the power of these are, you can't help but share. It's human nature. If you have something really great and it makes a difference, do share. So I'm going to go back. Speaking of sharing, I'm going to share my screen with you guys again. And we're going to talk about a health tracker, which Joy is going to upload into our chat. So if anybody would like to grab that on your computer, save it, print it, I highly recommend you use that health tracker. We did not have this when we got started. And a lot of things are easy to forget about. I told you about my bunion that had excruciating pain. Man, by the end of the day, I never could wait to get out of my shoes. If I'd written that bunion down, 9 months later, when the pain was gone and the entire bunion was gone, I might have recognized that fact, but it was out of sight, out of mind. And I can't tell you how many people that will become your reality. Right now you might struggle with a lot of things, but in time they slowly go away. But we have to be realistic and give our body some time. So I highly recommend you use that health tracker. But these products have really been targeted to the sports world for the last 20 years. This is a 20-year-old company. But Serena and Venus Williams, they love to wear them on their wrists. Michael Phelps, when he won all the medals in Beijing, he was wearing these. Tom Brady, he says he couldn't have played football without these because of the regenerative nature. But in 2019, history was made, and David Schmidt, our owner and inventor, created the X39 patch, which is the holy grail and the flagship product of this company because it, through the action of GHK copper peptide, which is regenerated in the body by that patch, that GHK copper, tongue twister there, sorry. GHK copper peptide allows your own dormant stem cells to come back. And that's the first time ever. It's a very big deal. And this company is just skyrocketing and selling these globally now. But I want to talk about the timeline because what we're talking about here is age reversal, which is different than anti-aging. Anti-aging, you stop where you are. Age reversal is a process and you got to be patient. The first few days, you're going to reset about 4,000 of your genes. That's about 1/5 of your entire genes. So gene whispering is a real thing. And getting things back to a younger state is really fantastic because, say, cognitive issues where you lose your words run in your family, if you can set those genes back to a younger age, maybe that bypasses you. What would that be worth? 1 to 3 months, we start seeing physical, mental, emotional changes happening. That 3 to 6 month window is really where the magic starts to begin with the active cell regeneration and repair. And then the longer you wear these, the further you go into that age reversal phase. So really great. There is a fantastic website that our friend Marcy Preble has spent a lot of money and time in developing. And that is really developed for all of us because you never have to be the expert like Joy or I tonight. We're here doing that for you. But if you have someone you care about and you love, give them this website. Have them watch a couple videos. They're like 5 minutes. They're short. Have them look at some pictures. Have them go to this science section, especially if maybe they're skeptical or maybe they're a doctor. Because here we've got 100 patents that this company holds. We have 90 clinical trials. They are not done by our company. They are done by independent labs around the globe, and they're real and they're fantastic. I learned so much through those. My favorite of the tabs is age reversal with GHK copper peptide. So if you were to click on that, this talks about lung protection. So a lot of amazing things that this is doing to help regenerate lung linings, protection from lung damage, anti-fast growing cells. This does a lot of good things to help reset and inhibit the ability for those rapid growing cells that we don't want in our bodies. My favorite thing that GHK does, though, is this last bullet. It resets 84 genes to inhibit fast-growing cells. So it makes it harder for that to live in your body. They did a cardiovascular study that a lot of participants, and after 6 weeks of wearing that X39, what they found on average was that the cardiovascular age of the participants reduced by about 8 weeks. That's pretty great. You're gaining 2 weeks of youth for every 6 that you wear the patch. So if you do the math on that, that means your cardiovascular system is about a day and a third younger. Pretty fantastic. There is also a study on brain health, and this is a brain mapping EEG. So what they were doing is looking at the heat with electrodes in the brain, and we're looking down on these brains. So this first session one, where you see a lot of orange and red, this woman happens to be 77-year-old. I believe she has dementia. But the orange and the red is heat or inflammation. So that's putting pressure on blood flow. She's not getting the right amount of blood flow, but that heat is not good in the brain, and it causes the slowing of cognition. And session 2, that is the first check-in. She's been wearing the X39 for 3 weeks at that point. Look at the difference in that brain. We're talking a hot, heated brain to a much cooler brain. That's healthier. It's not perfect yet, though. The body, this is just a tool for the body to allow itself to find balance and homeostasis. So in 3 more weeks, a total of 6 weeks, this brain, the coherence, that is the communication from left to right in that brain, is perfectly balanced. So that is decreasing inflammation. It is improving memory, focus, cognition, just an overall more happy, joyful life. And that's pretty great. So like I told you, we have to be careful on what we say and what we don't, but we can show you pictures. So this is just to help you envision the accelerated repair when you're bringing back your own repair cells. What happens? Snowboard accident, open heart surgery here. The first image is right after this surgery. The second image in the middle is after 1 year of Mother Nature's repair process. The third issue here is 1 month after. That July is not right. That should say August 2018. Joy and I were playing around with this today, and I think I goofed on that. But again, this is the difference between age reversal and anti-aging. Dr. Harmon here, this is after 14 months. You know, he goes from looking like grandpa to a hot dude. Look at that brown hair. That's his own natural hair color that came back. His nurses kept saying, "Hey, John, your hair's getting brown back here." Well, of course, he couldn't see it, but he's a changed person. What you see on the outside is a reflection of what's on the inside. The inside is really the most important. And then this lady here, she goes from looking like grandma to daughter to granddaughter. This is skin repair. This is collagen, hyaluronic acid, coming back, making change, turning back the hands of time. Who doesn't want that? A lot of people notice a difference in their sleep with that X39. It's doing some really great things to help your body get into that deep, restful sleep. That's when we repair. Quality of your sleep is hugely important. If X39 alone isn't enough, we have some other little supportive patches like Silent Night that helps elevate the melatonin. These are showing you hormone regulation. This was 6 weeks for this lady that had cystic acne. I had that all growing up, had a lot of hormonal balance issues that have all been resolved now because of these patches, thankfully. Look at this, 5 weeks of this fellow's hair. I mean, that is a nice head of hair there. This is looking at spine pain. On the left here, we have somebody with bulging discs and a degenerative spinal cord. On the right, it's the same patient, but that's all regenerated there. The bulging disc is between the C7 and the T1 in that picture on the left. You can see that black dot pushing in, and you notice it's back in position. But this lady here had curvature of the spine, and just 4 weeks, a combination of X39 and Ice Wave, which is a pain blocker patch, her spine realigned. The body is pretty amazingly designed to self-regulate and manage and repair itself. This is our friend Marcy, who created that website for us, and she's quite grateful to this company because she received 10 of these patches from her naturopath while she was dying in a lazy boy chair. She had 3 types of fast-growing cells, and the one with the skin, she was told would never go into remission. That would be the one that would take her out. Look at her. She just gets better with time, and she's 4 years now into remission and doing beautifully. And this lady here is in recovery after radiation treatments. And you can see a friend brought her some of these in the hospital and how much better. She starts looking, and look at this. We are in under a month here, 3 weeks. Look at that change in that beautiful face. I think she's loving it. Look at her neck too, though. That's not where the radiation was, but her skin, everything's changing. I love the fact that these are not just for us humans, but these are for our fur babies too. And they had been using these on race horses for quite a while because you get an injured, very costly horse and you don't want to put him out to pasture. And they started putting their own patches on him and started observing some pretty cool things. The dog you see here on the left is my friend's dog, a 14-year-old black lab. And when she bought the patches, I said, "Oh, don't throw away your used patches. Put him on Brutus. I know he has arthritis and he's, sad, in pain little dog. Let's make him feel better." So she started taping him on the inside of his collar. Half the time they were even her used patches. Half the time her son was sneaking brand new. But he was blind from diabetes. So that picture in the left, white frosty eye, no pupil. The picture on the right, look at that beautiful brown eye. You can see a pupil back, and guess what? He started seeing again. She called me crying. She said, "You're not going to believe this. Brutus is following me all around the house. And I can tell he's seeing things again. He gets off his pet bed and he wants to go and do things." So we both cried. This is kind of an emotional thing. I tell you, when you think, it's time to say bye-bye and you bring somebody back, then he starts acting like a puppy. He wanted them to start throwing the ball again. So pretty fun. And just really quickly, I want to share with you, we do have the ability to create combinations with these patches. I say these are way better than Botox, and I never would encourage anybody, especially if you're working on those angry 11s between your eyebrows, don't put botulism in your body, please. That's just not good, especially that close to your brain. But a combination of patches can be pretty life-changing. I mean, look at this lady's décolleté here. We're talking 6 months, 6, maybe 7 months there. Huge change. No needles, no injections. But the gut regeneration system, this was a game changer for our family because my bonus daughter, Angie, was really struggling, having a lot of issues, and a lot of them gut related. But we didn't understand that the anxiety and the depression and the insomnia really originate in your gut. The gut, they are now saying, is really your first brain because the nutrients that come from that gut have got to feed the brain. And if they aren't getting the nutrients to the brain through the bloodstream, then the brain is in crisis. The anxiety, the insomnia, all of that. But she wore these patches just like this, the 4 of these for her gut imbalance. We detoxified her gut with glutathione. We reduced her inflammation with Eon. We balanced her endocrine system with SP6. And it also works on controlling cravings. That's a craving center of our body, is the hypothalamus, which the SP6 is working on. It also helps manage and support blood sugar, insulin, pancreas. The X39 is, again, repairing, and the gut is one of the first things that a repair cell left to its own devices is going to go there because of how critical gut health is. So she lost about 35 pounds in 18 days. Mind you, some of that was water weight, inflammation, but she started sleeping and felt better. But this here is somebody dealing with, if they are dealing with knee pain, maybe it's that bone on bone, that cushioning is really worn down. There is the ability to allow the body to help itself regenerate and repair. And this is glutathione on the outer sides, Eon on the inside, that's for inflammation. Carnosine, that one is helping with blood flow and organ regeneration. And of course, X39, the holy grail of them all. Utilizing collagen and vitamin C along with, it is possible to help regenerate that cushioning, that cartilage. And I've had couple different people now cancel knee replacements. That's pretty fun when you get that phone call. But I'm going to just set a high level review with you are the patches, because there's more than just the X39. I've mentioned a couple others to you, but the X39 is the holy grail. Everybody needs that. I don't care what is going on with you, what your age, that is a game changer. And that's activating those pluripotent repair cells and a whole lot more. X49 is the sister to that patch, and it is working on building lean muscle mass by boosting your metabolism. That was an accidental discovery because this patch was really developed to help protect our cells in our brain from electromagnetic frequency. So EMF protection. If you're familiar with 3G, 5G, Wi-Fi, microwave, all of that is very hard on our bodies. And that's what this was designed for. But then they start discovering, gee, a lot of these people, their dentists are reporting their periodontal pockets are filling in. The bone is coming back. So it helps with all sorts of great things in the body. But our recommendation to everyone when you're getting started, X39 and Eon, those two, that we call them the dynamic duo, because that Eon is raising a peptide in your liver. And that is the organ in our body that regulates inflammation and stress. So when you raise that peptide, it's pulling the inflammation out of the body. Powerful, really important, because that inflammation will eat those repair cells if we don't get it under control. So you really want those two together. And then we can fine tune. If you've got a lot of pain, then we're going to add Ice Wave. That is a 2-patch system. It works instantly when we find the right spot. It's a little trial and error till you find it, but when you do, you'll be blown away. Because for my husband, Eric, 10 seconds, his pain was gone. He'd been living with spinal fusion surgery that would not repair because he was 60 years old. He doesn't have enough of those repair cells to get a quick recovery, but these patches really help. But importantly, taking his body out of pain allowed his body to repair. Carnosine, it is supporting every organ in the body, and you have a lot of carnosine. That's a peptide, and we all have it in our brain and our heart. We have the ability to bring it back with these patches. Glutathione. Some people have heard of glutathione, and they'll take it as a supplement, maybe under the tongue, an IV drip. The reality is synthetic glutathione is very unstable. The half-life in our body is only about 7 minutes. So it doesn't give the body a whole lot of time to really detox. But this is your body's master antioxidant, and the patch actually activates your own glutathione. Game changer, because in 24 hours, you wear that patch for 12 hours on, 12 hours off. 24 hours later, when they did testing, the participants had raised their own glutathione about 300%. So that is so strong, you don't need to use that one every day, because if you're getting 300% one day, if you use it, every 3 days, that averages out to about 100%, right? So that's pretty good. This is a serious one, though. This is a big gun, and we never start with this right off the get-go. We phase this in gradually because it's pulling all the yuck out of your body. And I love that around flu and cold season. And a lot of people in this company did not actually get the COVID vaccinations because they were utilizing that patch, and they felt quite insulated with that. So the more you know about that one, game changer. Energy enhancer, first patch David ever created. It was developed for the US Navy SEALs 20 years ago. He was trying to help them with their recovery, their endurance, their ability to build muscle, and just have more energy. And what he has done with that patch is it's converting fat and burning it as fuel. So in the process, you're burning an extra 300 to 600 calories. So if, weight loss is a goal, a health goal of yours, besides doing really great things for your lymphatic system, helping it flush, it's helping you burn some extra calories. So I think that's a bonus. Holidays around the corner, so that's a great one to stock up on. SB6, one of my personal favorites. It's really helping to balance the hormones. The hypothalamus, the adrenals, and the pituitary are all tied in with that, and just life-changing. Silent Night, I used to use that till I regenerated my melatonin enough to where I don't need it anymore. I sleep like a baby. I dream like crazy. Like, my dreams are vivid, fun, awesome. So let's talk real quick about what these patches cost. And to me, they're priceless. I can't put a price tag on, helping somebody get out of pain, or my own father-in-law who lost all of his words, and 90 days later, a combination of patches brought those words back. 5 months later, another combination of patches brought the memories back. His personality and his joke telling is still alive and real. Can't put a price on it. But if you wanted to buy these at retail, that's just a one-time purchase. The supportive patches are $79.95 for a 30-day supply. At wholesale, which is the way we like to sell them, because we want to help you get the most product for the least amount of money. We want you to have a good health result, because if you do, you're going to tell other people. And you can get these for as low as $49.95 for a 30-day supply, or 30 patches, I should say, because like glutathione, one package of that will last you, what, 2.5, 3 months. So really, it's 30 patches, and pretty affordable, I think, for what they do. And our Alavita Trio system is, to me, one of the best deals in this company. And it is 2 packages of the Alavita patches. Gita mentioned sleeping with it between her eyebrows, and that's where I sleep with it every night. But it is supercharging my own collagen. And I always thought that was about pretty skin and vanity and, beautiful hair and nails. But no, no, no. It is the matrix of our body. It is the joint lubrication. Think of a little oil can going around to all your joints and putting moisture back in. That is the role. Rebuilding and regenerating ligaments and tendons, and ultimately the right combination of patches. You can even bring back that collagen. There's no promises. I'm just telling you what happened for a few people, but working on your brain, your telomeres, chemical free, really great. But the day cream and the night cream are the only things really I use on my skin anymore. I love them. And because of their perfect pH, they absorb right into the skin, no greasiness. But get that whole package there for $149.95 at our wholesale cost. That is a great bargain. I realized, Joy, as we were playing around today, I guess we ended up taking off the pricing on this one, my mistake. But at wholesale, these 2 patches are $99.95 each. At retail, they're $149.95. Pretty amazing. You can go to Panama and pay $35,000 for injections of stem cells in your shoulder like Tony Robbins just did. Or at retail, even for $150, you're getting 30 of them. That's a bargain. So maximizing your benefits. Again, I just want to reiterate, we wear these 12 hours on, 12 hours off. We're simulating circadian rhythm, Mother Nature's day and dark, right? 12 hours. We need to drink a lot of water. That's about half your weight in ounces. Eat some good food, vitamins, exercise, rest. And oh, here we get into the purchasing. Okay, I didn't forget. There we go. Those are the prices I already mentioned. But the nice thing is we can customize a pack for you. So you get these at the same cost that I get them, Joy, Gita, anybody here listening. We only do wholesale in our group because I don't want to sell somebody, 1 month or 2 months of X39 for $300. I want to get them a bunch of patches to accelerate their body coming back into balance and homeostasis. And these, again, this is a signaling device. It's frequency, like Thomas Edison. It's all frequency based. So for $299, we can get somebody up to 5 packs. That's a one-time purchase. If we're talking about a husband and a wife, or for a family, the gold kit, or maybe you want patches to last you a while, $499.95 is, I still think, an amazing deal for how much product you're getting there. The diamond kit is a really great deal if you are looking for a lot of patches. And then what we do is we help you set up a monthly subscription to get at least X39 to keep your repair cells reactivating. And that is $99.95 a month after that. And I do want to point out, come September 30th, our packages here are going to be changing, just so you're aware. So again, this is wearable light, absolutely all natural. It comes with a 30-day money back guarantee on that first order you place. And if you were wanting to learn more or place your order, get back with the person who invited you here tonight. They'll be happy to help you. Or at the end of this call, we're going to stay on and answer questions. We can help you too. But the word has really gotten out about how LifeWave and X39 are just changing the world. And it's such an amazing gift to share good health. And, I don't know how you put a price tag on it, but due to FDA regulations, LifeWave really cannot advertise directly what this is doing for the body. But they do give us a thank you check if you were to share this with somebody. It can help pay for your patches. It can boost your bank account, but company is just exploding all around the world. If you want to learn more, we do have these patching podcasts, and Monday night, a lot of people sharing their stories. Tuesday night, Dr. Tracey, she's right 1 hour before our call. I love her. She's always interviewing a different doctor. I learned so much from her. And then Marcy, our friend, does a fantastic patching party at 4 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays. She gives away patches as prizes. And I think we have a lady on here who actually won some last week. So that's cool. Thursday nights in Spanish and in English. And then on Tuesday nights, Cami, Joy, and I are here. And I didn't change the time on that. It's actually 6 o'clock now. But we have figured out what we want to be when we get older. And that's younger. Who doesn't want to be? Quality of life is everything. It's not just a number. Feel good, feel happy, and have a good life. So I am now going to turn this over to Joy, and she's going to share with you